Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another little unboxing video, and this time it's Waysted, a 4 CD set called Won't Get Out Alive, Volume 1, 1983 to 1986. So let's have a look inside the box and I'll tell you what I think of it. So this is the Waysted CD box set, 4 CD box set from H&E and Cherry Red, called Won't Get Out Alive, Waysted Volume 1, 1983 1986. This has got like a matte finish compared with the normal glossy ones that you see from this label, but I really like it. So you've got the albums on the back, the 4 albums: Vices, Waysted, You Won't Get Out Alive, The Good, Bad and the Waysted, and Save Your Prayers. Inside you've got the albums on 4 CDs. I'll do the booklet last of all, as I usually do. So the first one, which is a very striking cover, I remember that when it first came out. The second one, and the third one, The Good, Bad and the Waysted, and my favourite, Save Your Prayers, which was featured Danny Vaughn on vocals as well. And the booklet is really well put together, lots of photos, but also a really extensive story behind the band, how it came together and all the different lineup changes and how that happened, because there were many, and how the band almost became an alternative UFO as they went through this brief period of time. It really is a great story. Everything is included. The band, where possible, archive interviews have been slotted into it, so Rich Davenport has done a really good job on that. And then the actual albums themselves come with lots of bonus tracks where applicable. All the credits are there. Absolutely great stuff. And of course there is another Volume 2 box available as well. So that is Waysted, Won't Get Out Alive, Volume 1, 1983 to 1986. So that is Waysted, Won't Get Out Here Alive, Volume 1, 1983 to 1986. I should have in many ways mentioned this band when I did my UFO ranking video, and at the very end of that video I talked about other things you might be interested in, and I mentioned Mogwai, for instance. So Waysted are the missing link for UFO fans, I feel. Why do I say that? Obviously it's Pete Way, but it's actually more than Pete Way, because in this band you had Paul Raymond, UFO. You had Andy Parker, UFO. You had Paul Chapman from UFO. So at various stages, for all intents and purposes, this was UFO without Phil Mogg. Obviously Schenker, but you know what I mean. And I always felt that Pete Way was the kind of rock and roll, kind of punky end of rock end of UFO. Phil Mogg might have been thinking more about keyboards and stuff and orchestral stuff, but I think Pete Way always pushed against that. And if I've done a review of Pete Way's solo albums, and he really was the kind of like turn everything up to 11 guy, although he also had a fantastic sense of melody as well. Vices is a great album, and this one is produced by, I think they get the same producer, didn't they, as the previous UFO album at the time, Mike Glossop. But it isn't like UFO. This is more raw. Finn's vocals are kind of more raspy. There is kind of like a dangerous, punky element to it, but the riffs are kind of great rock riffs. You can imagine some of this being UFO, but the production makes it more kind of, well, not primitive is the wrong word, but it's kind of not as polished, I guess. But there are some great moments on this album. But from this set, it isn't my favourite. And the next one, which was an EP, so what they've done is they've given you the EP and the live album on the back. Now, the EP has got some absolutely killer stuff on it. Absolutely brilliant. Rocksteady, Hurt So Good, Cinderella Boys. They were evolving all the time. This band should have been huge. The live stuff from 1984, you aren't at the front row. You're not at the middle row. You're more at the back under the balcony. If you know what I mean, it means that the vocals sound more distant. It's not a bootleg. It's really raw. It's live. And I think they went for that sound. But it's not polished. it's wild and it's out there. And that's Paul Chapman on guitar, Andy Parker on drums, Pete Way, Finn on vocals, recorded in 1984. The next one is The Good, Bad and the Waysted. This is kind of like a paradox, because there are tracks on here which land themselves right in the middle of lights out period of music. Heaven Tonight, for instance, and Manuel, I think it is. They are almost like Southside Johnny in the approach of the way the piano is and the vocals and the storytelling. The first two tracks are really great rock songs. Really good. I mean, like, again, another thing to me where you think, how did this band not break through? How did they not break through? I think behind the scenes there were lots of band politics, management problems, record labels not really understanding what they were doing. There was so much else going on. Everything from America was landing and taking off in Britain. Side 2 has also got some wonderful stuff as well. There's more piano on this, which Pete May must have thought, this is good. It's where piano does give different textures and stuff. Great album. And then we come to Save Your Prayers. Now, I recently interviewed Danny Vaughn from Taiketo. I should have mentioned this, because this, next to the first Taiketo album, is one of the best AOR melodic rock albums of all time. I'm not exaggerating. To me, this is, in my UFO ranking albums video, I said that While Willing and the Innocent was my second favourite UFO album. If you're a fan of Paul Chapman and that feel, this sits right next to it. It's joined at the hip. Danny Vaughan's voice is very much here. It's a bridge between Mog and Journey in many ways. There is a Journey-esque feel to some of these songs. But the riffs, the melodies, this is just AOR heaven. It really, really is. I know I say that a lot, but every track on here, Walls Fall Down, Black and Blue, Singing in the Night, Here Comes Home, Heroes Die Young, Heaven Tonight, How the West Was Won, Wild Night, Out of Control, So Long 5:30, and the outtake, the B-side, Fire Under the Wheels. It's just fantastic. This is essential. So this, to me, if you haven't got this and you can't find the other version that came out on H&E Records, this set, bringing all of these albums together, is brilliant. Why didn't it work? Well, it launched Danny Vaughan, but Danny wrote most of the lyrics to the songs apparently, but he didn't get a credit. Pete Way said, he'd been paid anyway. Paul Chapman was fired, apparently. They fired the management. The record label must have thought, this is the one. This band is going to work. But why? Did they put just Pete on his own on the front when it was a band? It was a band effort. This was Waysted were a band. They weren't just a Pete Way exercise. They were a rock and roll band, an AOR rock and roll band, refined. And I just think missed opportunities, whatever we like to think. But I've really enjoyed this. As I said, that Save Your Prayers is one of my favourite melodic rock albums of all time. Anyway, the remastering is great. They all sound good, but what it means to me hearing all these albums in this way is hearing the progression, hearing the kind of false starts, perhaps, and some of the tracks. But it's a great rock band, and another part of the UFO story. So if you are a UFO fan, and I know that many of you out there are, this is highly recommended. It really is, and you will like this. Don't think, I'm buying it for one album because Phil's gone on about the fourth one. They are all good, and it's exceptional rock and roll band, great guitar playing, and as I say, a lot of the UFO members are in here as well. So, Won't Get Out of Line, Volume 1. So, what is going to be in Volume 2? That'll be exciting. That is out now on, is it H&E? It is H&E on Cherry Red Records. 4 CDs, great booklet as you saw in that part of the video. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your support. Please subscribe, become a patron if you want to see all these videos before they go out public and see them in advance. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Take care, keep spinning those discs, and I shall see you all very, very soon.